Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Nini Sadei. And before we go ahead with today's video, I just want to say a big thank you to all those that have subscribed. We have officially reached over 1,000 subscribers and I'm so happy about the growth of this channel. It's a big motivation for me just to see the support that I'm receiving from the channel, and it's really going to help me to keep posting more. So I'm really grateful for all the love, all the encouragement, and yeah, I just want to say a big thank you. And to celebrate, I was thinking to be a good idea to do a Q&A. So if you have any questions about my art journey or my personal life or unpopular opinion that I have, leave them down in the comments below and I'll be taking up those questions in my next video. So yeah, we'll just go straight to the point of today's video, which is sharing with you guys 10 things that I believe that beginners can do to improve their art instantly. Things that when you hear, you'll be like, wow, I've never heard of this thing before. Or you'll be like, oh, I know about this. Just simple things that you can implement to your drawings now and in the future. My first tip is based on my last video, which is about flipping your canvas. If you're a digital artist, you have to flip your canvas. It will help you to see your drawings from a different perspective and to allow you to see all those mistakes that you might not have noticed in your process. You can do it at the beginning of your drawings, at the end of your drawings, at the middle stage. Just don't flip too much, but flip enough for you to detect those mistakes. Take advantage of digital tools like the adjustment tools, whatever it might be. Take advantage of those. Take advantage of the layers multiple layers that are provided for you in your softwares, in your applications. And yeah, it's just going to help you speed up your process, to make your process a lot more seamless, make changes very easily. And it's something that I really encourage. I really don't know why digital tools are so discouraged and why people believe that using those things are cheating, because in architecture, which I did in uni, we used digital tools. We used Photoshop, we used like CAD applications to create smooth, perfect lines, to create our technical drawings, to create our visualizations. We use digital tools just to perfect our ideas. So why is it encouraged in architecture but not in art? It's encouraged in graphic design but not in art, and people just see it as cheating. Creating logos in the past was used traditionally. It was used by templates and like complex things. I don't know what people do, but they did it before. They did it by hand. But now that you have things like Photoshop, people just rather do it in the digital form. And I feel like that should apply in art as well. Digital tools should actually be encouraged in art, especially in this day and age where producing art constantly is kind of like the norm. You are expected to produce. But if you are doing traditional art, it's almost impossible to keep up with things that you have to post. You can do traditional art, but if you want to post consistently and regularly, digital art, in my opinion, is the only way you can do it as quickly as possible, unless maybe you're using a pencil, which I still encourage you to use as a digital artist. Still use a pencil in your sketchbook, still have that sketchbook to do like quick 10 minutes, 30 minutes drawings. It's always a good idea to experiment with those tools that are available for you and see what works best for your workflow. And you just realize that it makes your workflow a lot more smoother and it speeds up your process and it just makes your drawing look better. So take advantage of those softwares. Don't mind those people that feel like it's cheating. Pick your background color first. That will help you to decide the color of the skin tone, because the color of the skin tone can look different depending on the environment and the light source that you have. So you have to pick out your light source and the background color to decide the skin color to choose. This is very important for semi-realistic or realistic renders, pick your lighting and pick your background color first. And that will lead me to another tip that I have for you guys, which is prepare your ideas in advance. Know what you want to create. Just gather your inspiration, gather your concepts, gather your references, gather all those things that will help you to visualize the ideas that you have in your head. Then you can, when you're drawing and when you are going to the final stage, you don't have to like ramble and think of things. You can even write those things down. Whatever ideas that you have in your head, you write those things down. Those small details that you want to implement into your drawings, write those things down. For example, if you are creating a landscape drawing, maybe in an ocean setting, you want to implement things like birds, whales, like seagulls, just little details. It's always good to write those things down, so that even as you're going towards the end of your drawing, you can just look back and make sure that those things you've ticked the boxes of those things. And you don't have to add all of them into your drawing, but it's always good to put them down so that you know what to leave out and what to not forget. And that will lead into another topic, which is thumbnailing. A lot of the times when we have this idea, we just go straight to rendering and seeing how it's going to look in the final stages, but it's very important to thumbnail just to help you to visualize your ideas, because sometimes what we have in our heads, what we have in our minds, when we actually put them on paper, it can look a little bit different from what we have in our imagination. But sometimes the only thing that we need to do is just framing it, maybe changing the colors. And you don't want to be doing that when you are doing the final stage, when you are in the final stage of your drawing. It's something that you can quickly do in your thumbnail sketches, and you can easily adjust the composition and the colors and the elements in your drawing right at the beginning without having to perfect or create those beautiful lines and those beautiful colors. You can still make changes along, but you have skipped the steps of making too many changes, and you just realize that it's going to really speed up your process and make your drawings look as good as it can look, rather than just picking up the first thing that comes to your head and going ahead with it. Sometimes it works, but sometimes it doesn't. So it's better to be safe than sorry. My next tip will be composition. Learn what composition is. If you have not implemented composition into your drawings, you have to understand the meaning of composition. Lucky for you guys, composition is something that it's just a technique that you can learn. It doesn't require practice. It's just something that you have to have knowledge of and implement it into your artwork. And if you don't know what composition is, just quickly Google or search on YouTube what is composition. You find a lot of information and data on composition. I talked about it briefly in my course, and you can also use the search engines available to you to understand the concept of composition. You don't have to use every type of composition that is out there. You can just pick a few ones that you use the most and just implement that in your drawings as often as you can. There's some compositions that I don't understand, like the golden ratio. I still don't understand about what golden ratio is, and I barely use it. So you don't have to use all the composition types that are there. You don't even have to use all the composition types in one image. You can just pick like one or two, and it will just make a big difference. What I suggest you guys to do actually is learn about composition, then go to one of your old drawings and try and use composition to frame your work, and just see the difference, the before and after. And I guarantee you that the after composition is going to be a lot better than the before composition. One of the biggest mistakes I see a lot of beginners make is picking whites for their whites or picking blacks for their blacks. You might not have known about this, but it's a common knowledge to avoid picking blacks for your black colors and whites for your whites. So even if you are going for the most simplest style, the most simplest illustration, it's always a good idea and it's always recommended to pick something that is almost white and it's almost black. And if you are doing like a semi-realistic, realistic render, you will realize that whenever you're picking the white of the eyes and the white of the teeth, is not so far off from the skin tone. It's not too far from the skin color. You just have to go a little bit lighter, a little bit more desaturated, and maybe pick some of the background color, and that's it. So you don't have to go to the extreme. It's actually better to go too dark than too light. And you will notice that when you're painting like darker skin or lighter skin, the whites that you pick, even in the same environment, in the same with the same light source, you realize that the whites that you pick for different skin tones is actually going to be different as well. So that is one thing to look out for. And my next tip, I don't know what number I am in now. I'm not counting. Maybe it's more than 10 or less than 10. You'll see at the end of the video. Don't go too heavy-handed in your drawing. Try and do light strokes than heavy-handed strokes. It will also help you to draw with your elbows rather than drawing with your wrist. You can go whenever you want. You can go heavy-handed in your details, but when you're going for the big strokes, it's always good to draw with your elbow and go a little bit light-handed. This tip actually requires a lot of practice, but it's definitely something that you need to try to implement in your drawing now, because it's taking time for you to perfect it and create that flowy, nice, smooth effect that you want. And if you feel like your lines are not showing enough, they are very light, it's probably because your opacity is low. So I encourage you to pick a brush that you can go light-handed on and increase the opacity to about a 90 or 100%. That would be my advice. Yeah. If you have any tips for us, leave it in the comments down below. I would love to read it and maybe learn from it as well. And yeah, that's all I have for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks again for 1K subscribers. I really appreciate every one of you. I really appreciate the love. I really appreciate the kind words I've received so far. It really means a lot to me. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate everyone. I really appreciate every one of you, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.
I hit record, it drop, you can't ignore it.